Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Couples Chronicles with your boy, Lloyd.
And Afiya.
So, we're married, if you didn't know, but we don't always agree with everything that we say or everything that we discuss. But we've chosen to live a life full of love, laughter, and respect. So grab a seat, listen closely as we tackle our first chronicle. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right, let's give it to him. First topic or chronicle of the day. Should you return a ring to your partner if you never made it to the altar?
Give it back.
Give it back. Okay, go ahead. Let me hear why.
I don't want it.
You don't want a ring?
No, I don't want it. What
Okay.
is it? It's a symbol that the relationship didn't work out, that it failed. Like, it's just a reminder of what happened. And for me, I don't want that daily reminder on my face.
So I don't think all your, so what's cis code, all your girls are going to agree with you on that one. But let me paint a picture. I'm visual. Let's paint a picture. So I proposed to you, and 2 weeks before the wedding, you found out that I cheated on you. You still feel the same way?
Give it back. I don't want it. I don't want it. You know what it is?
Okay.
I think as somebody that's married and understands how much goes into marriage and how far death do us part is, like that's a long time from now, right?
Okay.
And so I think if the relationship didn't work out or you cheated or whatever the case might be, let me go. Like, I'm happy. Allow me to move on. I'm not going to say happily, right? Because obviously there's going to be some damage that's done. But like, if you escaped being with a serial cheater, babe, it's okay. Move on. Like, there are other amazing men or women out there for you. And so in that moment, it might not seem like that, but I personally don't want a daily reminder in my face, like, that the relationship didn't work out or that it was a failure or that you cheated on me, right? And so I want it to be something that I personally can move past on versus something that's staring at me daily in my face. Like, oh, what am I going to do? Wear the ring? Like,
Well, I don't think it's going to be a daily reminder. I think most women, women, will end up trying to just sell it just off of pure spite.
Because they're
go buy a bag, go buy a Birkin bag with the ring.
Right, with the ring.
Money.
And like, if that's your prerogative, sure. I'm not knocking anybody that wants to keep the ring for whatever reason that you have. Personally, for me, I would just give the ring back. I would give it back. I think the only time or instance that I potentially would keep the ring is if we move forward with the marriage and like we were married for a substantial amount of time. I think at that point, like I would keep the ring. Like if I've been married, it doesn't matter, for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and then after 10 years, 5 years, whatever, you're asking for the ring back. I think that's even more childish. Like, I think if you've been married for a long period of time, there's a level of success in that, whether it worked out or not. Like, you learned a lot from the marriage, you learned a lot from the relationship. And I don't know, I at that point, if I've been married, I'm keeping the ring.
So let's go back. Two parts. Let's go back to the engagement first, or engagement, and I give it back to you. Yes, I want my ring. I'm not gonna play. It's not about being petty.
Give me back.
It's like we didn't make it there. I agree with you. So I don't think a lot of women are gonna agree with you. But I'm gonna politely and respectfully ask for the ring back. That, some rings cost as much as a down payment for a house.
Right.
I want my ring back. I want my money back. I want my money back. I'm just being as straightforward as it can be. Now, marriage, I still want my money back. I know a lot of people gonna come for me on that one too. And you probably, I don't know if you can feel away, but what are you doing with, like, I remember we had a topic before about possessions from like your exes, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying you're holding on to it for sentimental value. We're divorced. Let's just say, for argument's sake or for chronicle's sake, that it was a bad breakup, divorce, or whatever. What do you're not keeping the ring for sentimental value. And even if you are, quote unquote, your next guy that comes in, you wearing this ring all the time?
He's not gonna want that.
He's not gonna want that. You shouldn't want that.
I guess you're right in that regard. I would, like I said, you're right. If things ended badly, I'm sure I understand from that perspective. But I don't know. Like I said, if I have been married for a substantial amount of time, I just think it's a little childish, and in my opinion, to be like, oh yeah, we've been married for 20 years. It didn't work out. Can I have my ring back? Come on.
I'm a kid at heart, so childish.
Are you?
Not really.
Not really. But that is not true.
I don't think it's childish. I just think it's a lot of money. Like, why are you keeping the ring? Like, seriously, we're divorced now. I know it might come off as petty. Saying it now, it sounds petty. But when you actually think about it, though.
Like, 20 years, you've been married for 20 years. You want
but when you actually think about it, what are you going to do with the ring? Realistically, no, I'm being honest. What will you do with the ring?
Listen, I think there's a lot of different scenarios. You know, to be honest, it depends. Maybe you want to give the ring to your daughter, right? Like, you know, maybe, who knows? Like, for people, the ring might be symbolic of so much more than just a failure, right? Like, I don't know. Like, in that instance, like I said, 20 years is a long time to be married. 25 years, like, I just can't really see. Like, if I was in that instance, I can't see myself being like, oh, yeah, here's 20 years of my life down the drain. Here's the ring back. No, like,
You know what? I'm going to give you, I'm going to concede to the marriage, just thinking about it, right? Because knowing me, I'll just be like, keep everything, I'm out. Peace.
Yeah.
I'm going to concede because I'm thinking about it now.
Yeah.
The engagement, I definitely want my.
Yeah, it's just like you walk away, I walk away. You know, like, it is what it is. It didn't work out. It's unfortunate. I'm sure you're going to be hurt. I'm going to be hurt. But, like, you know, people get engaged and don't make it to the altar all the time. It happens very common. And like I said, I personally think if you were a serial cheater and I broke up the engagement or whatever, vice versa, you saved me. I saved you. Like, we're good. Let me go. Like, you know, like, but to sign up for an entire life of a failed potential marriage is not even worth it.
I want to know. I wish I knew somebody that this happened to. I'm gonna ask too. I should ask some people before this. I'm sure the women just pawn the rings.
Yeah.
And get the money back. I'm sure that's what it comes down to. Like, I don't see any other reason why.
It's tricky, right? Like, it depends. I'm not saying that women don't pawn the ring, right? Like, especially,
pretty sure it's a high number,
right? Especially, like, once the marriage didn't work out, it depends. Like, let's say your ring is like 5 carats, 6 carats, whatever. You could repurpose the diamond and, like, give it to your daughter. You could repurpose it and make it earrings. You could repurpose it and make it a necklace. And now, and it's nice, right? In a certain way, it's like taking that power back. Even if you repurpose it and do something different with it, you're also saying, you know what? This could be a symbol of something that failed, but I'm actually going to take it and do something else with this so that it doesn't hold that value anymore, where it's causing me pain. And either way, actually thinking about it, like, walking away from a marriage after 20, 25 years, like, you're going to be hurt regardless. Like, I'm sure. Like, most people, I don't know anybody. I personally don't.
That's why they're going to go pawn it, just as a get back.
And, you know, everybody's not spiteful, you know. Like, not everybody.
It's a natural human reaction. I'm not saying.
I think it's almost similar. Like, I saw this interview recently with Genuine, and Genuine was talking about his ex-wife and pretty much like how he showed support to his ex-wife and her new partner. Mm-hmm. And he was very clear, like, you know, well, the marriage didn't work out because of my fault. Like, why should I have hostility or ill intent towards her new partner? Like, you know, like, it didn't work out. I want to be happy for her. She deserves happiness. And it's just like, he owned that. He could be spiteful. Some men are spiteful, like, oh, that's my girl. Like, you know, some men still are spiteful or feel away just off the fact that the relationship didn't work out. Like, they're not going to be supportive.
I think that's more women, but go ahead.
No, I think it goes both ways. Yeah, I don't think it's subject to just women. I think men are getting their petty too and getting their feelings. I don't think it's just women, like, at all. But yeah.
I mean, I feel like you made some valid points that made me think about it. You know, I thought it was a very cut and dry question, but so I can see with the marriage part, but the engagement part, I want my money back. I want
my money back.
Nah, not to be like that, but I think I deserve my money back.
Yeah.
And we move forward. The marriage part, I think it's a little tough to come back after 20 years and be like, yes,
can I have my? It's so petty, and it's almost.
And I don't think I'm that person.
And it's almost. Thinking about it, I'm not that person. And it's also like.
But Matt, the engagement, yes, I'm that person for sure.
Yeah, like, let me have my ring back. I also, yeah, like, it just for what?
All right. Number two. Let's go. We're gonna keep them on their toes today.
Should you date multiple people at the same time when you're looking for someone, or should you focus on just getting to know one person?
Good question. So I'm gonna speak from my perspective. Obviously, we always speak from our perspective, but I'm gonna speak from personal first before I think what it should be a general, right? I can't date multiple people at the same time.
Yeah.
I've never been that type. Like, I've tried it probably for like a month, like, in all my life. And I'm 39. I just had a birthday, y'all. Hey. I'm 39. I told her, I was lying next to her, and I told her I'm officially a zaddy.
I was kind kind of turned on by that. I was like, hey, Zaddy.
But I remember I had a friend, and we were like night and day. We got to the same point, but we were night and day. He would date multiple people, and I would just focus on one person. Henceforth, fast forward 20 years, I'm married. He's married as well. So it's more than one way to get to the end result, right? But I just can't. Me thinking about dating multiple people at the same time, for me, in my head, how I paint that picture is, I'm going to go see my favorite movie 5 times with 5 different girls. I'm going to go to the restaurant, the same restaurant.
There's a lot of different restaurants.
I know, but like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it's too much energy, and it's too much. I have to give so much energy. First of all, women, y'all take a lot of energy. Yeah. For me to give 10 different women that energy, I think it's just draining for me. So I've never, like, it sounds good, and I'm not saying that, well, in the first sense, I'm not saying that it's wrong, if you could handle that.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the meat of the question, right? Mm-hmm. I think that you should just focus on one person when you're getting to know somebody. Because it's just like the time that we went with Instagram. If you give yourself so much options in the beginning, now you like just comparing, finding faults, this, and then you're gonna be torn because it's not one person gonna give you or gonna fulfill everything that you're looking for. So you're pulling your fulfillment from this person and this person, and where this guy might be lacking, now you're looking at him sideways, where he might be strong. And I think analyzing the situation, just looking in from like a mature, I don't call it mature, analytical kind of perspective. I think that you should just focus, give that person that you're interested in your time, your energy, and if it don't work, then move on to the next.
I think it's tricky because you're almost saying that when you're dating somebody, if you're just dating that person and you're only dating that person, you're exclusively dating that person, which means you almost are boyfriend and girlfriend out the gate. If I'm exclusively dating you and vice versa, we pretty much might as well be boyfriend and girlfriend.
Let's go back in time. When we first started talking.
Right. Yeah. Let them know. Go ahead.
How did I approach you?
No.
How did I approach you when we first started?
And I can say this because, and he is 100% standing by what he's saying to you guys. 100%, because he literally, like, after maybe like 2 months of dating, he was just like, well, I feel like we should only date each other. And so
go for what you want, fellas. Close mouth, don't get fed. I'm married now.
Yeah. It was just like, oh, well, and I feel like if you want to date somebody else or if you're intimate with someone else, you should let me know. See? Right? And so that kind of put pressure on me to
apply
be honest.
Pressure, fellas.
To be honest. But it also, made me put in perspective, wow, like, this man wants me to let him know if I'm intimate with somebody. That's deep. That's wild.
That's fair. It is fair.
But how realistic is that? Like, it's just like,
happened. You let me. I mean, I believed you let me know whether you lied to me or not.
I didn't.
It doesn't matter to me now. But look, so I was intrigued and interested in you, right?
Yeah.
Let's go back, because I was talking about this with like my male friends or anybody when they first start dating somebody, right? I always tell people that I give a person that I'm dating about 3 months to wean out your dudes, your side dudes.
Yeah, I would say 2 months.
I'll give you 3. I'll give you 3.
He's saying 2 months because after 2 months, he was like, yeah, I feel like we should only date each other. Like, I feel like we should exclusively date. And in my mind, I'm like, well, if we're exclusively dating, that means we're together.
Okay, fair. I mean, that's fair to say.
But that's what I'm saying. So if you're not dating multiple people and you're only exclusively dating one person, you guys are together.
I think it's just more about the focus, though. The focus and energy on really getting to know that person. I think
it's nothing.
It's like Instagram. It's like a live Instagram. We say Instagram gives people too much options. Like, how many options do you need for you to focus or really see you? I need to really see you
without distraction.
Yeah, to like, and I'm not saying the other way is. I think analytically, I think is wrong. Yes, but if you could, like I said, my friend, we were 2 separate ways, and we still ended
at the
same point. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but I think the focus should just be there.
So
you ain't give me your side of it.
I know. So personally. Mm-hmm. I think that there's a season for dating, right? Just like there's a season of engagement, there's a season of being married, right? I think in the season of dating, you should do that. And I think that you should date multiple people. I do think that, you should figure out what best suits you. What is your preference? What do you like? What don't you like? And I do think sometimes when you've only dated one person, you're limited in your viewpoint. You only know what this one person has shown you. When you date multiple people or you've dated a different type of guy, not a plethora, but like, like at least one. A plethora is a lot, right? But let's say at least 1 to 5, right? Let's give you a solid, 1 to 5. I think when you've dated, different types of men, you're able to say, okay, like this is actually the type of person that I see myself spending the rest of my life with spending the rest of my life with, instead of, this is all I know. And sometimes when someone is all you know, it's very frightening to do something different or to step away from that, right? Because that's all you know. Mm-hmm. Like that's the only type of love that you know, versus saying, oh, wow, like, I've experienced different types of love and I'm choosing this type of love for the rest of my life. It's very different, right? I also think a lot of times, sometimes when you get married so young or you only date one person, then you choose to date or start dating after you divorce, right? You wait until the marriage didn't work out to say, oh, wow, like now at 40 or 35, whatever, I'm now dating. I'm now actually dating all these different people and figuring out what I like, who I want to spend the rest of my life with, versus doing that before you make that commitment. And like you said, either way, like it's not to say there's a wrong or right answer or way.
I think is wrong, but I get it.
Yeah, I'm not saying there's a wrong or right, way. There are some people that got married at 18 and are still married. My aunts right now, one of my aunts, got married at 18. She's married 40 years later, right? So your parents, like, there's no right or wrong way. Like I said, I just think that in the season of dating, I think you should date.
Did you have yours? People. So I as you heard, I snatched up pretty quickly. Pretty young. I met her at 21. So I snatched up really grown. But did you have your season of dating?
I did.
You did?
Yeah, I dated.
Before you met me?
Yeah, I did.
How many guys did you date at the same time?
Oh, at the same time? Oof, not at the same time. That's kind of aggressive.
That's what we're talking about.
I know, it's hard.
Question.
And I also think it's hard to date multiple people when you're very career focused. I think that for me, it's me, right? Like I love what I do. I've always been very career focused, very driven. And I think the one thing that I've always wanted more than a healthy, successful relationship is my career. Mm-hmm. So to answer your question, I've never dated 5 people at the same time. That's a lot. I would probably say, I'll probably say the max is maybe 2 people at the same time, like one person and then maybe another, right? And then it gets tricky because what are you, sexually intimate with both? Like, so at that point, it does eventually boil down to you dating just one person. But I think, assuming that sex is not involved, you should date. Like I think if I had a daughter, I would tell her, like, get to know different people, like figure out what you like.
That's why I don't want no daughter. I would tell
my son the same thing.
I gotta go buy a gun.
It's not like that. I'm not saying be a hoe. I think
no, you know me. I'm very liberal.
Yeah,
I don't think having sex with different people, girl, female, or male.
Yeah, I'm not saying that, but I do think that like you should figure out like what you like. Take that time in that season, because kind of once you step into marriage or step into being a mom, it's not really about you anymore. It becomes about the family. It becomes about your children. It becomes about making the relationship and the marriage work and pouring into the relationship. You barely have time for yourself.
So for me, it's like 2 different things, right? Actively dating and just hanging out and having fun, right? I think there's a time for that.
Okay.
If you're not seriously trying to meet somebody to get in a relationship.
I think you can do both.
I'm just saying, I think they're 2 different things. Again, this is just personally. Mm-hmm. Like, you could lightly just go out, like people just hanging out. I always ask people, what's your definition of dating?
Right.
Because if I have no intention of getting involved with somebody, I don't consider that dating. You're just out here having fun.
But we have to date to even figure out, like, if that intent is there.
But that's what I'm saying. I think it's the intention behind it. You know what I'm saying? Like, me dating, if I say I'm dating this person, I'm focusing on possibly having a relationship with you. Whereas, I think there's a season for having fun.
Yeah.
For, like, going on dates. But I think it should be a more clear definition of what dating is to me. If I'm dating you, I'm trying to get to know you.
Absolutely.
If we just or let's go hang out for drinks and we fucking or something like that. That's just casual. And we have no intention of, people do that.
But
and I think that's the time.
Sometimes dating is casual until you make it, serious, right? Like at what point?
I feel like it's different. I mean, again, tomato. I feel like it's different.
Yeah,
if I'm intentionally dating somebody though, it's like I'm trying to get to a relationship. I think people go on dates not wanting to get in a relationship.
That's true.
And I think that's the season
that I'm talking about.
That you're talking about per se. But I think when you're more intentional about dating, it gets a little bit more focused.
Yes.
And that distraction of 5, you say 1 to 5 people, I think becomes overbearing. And people date way more than just 5 people.
And that's what I'm saying. So, I'm over here crazy. Like 1 to 5, 1 to 3, like,
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
I just think, like I said, as somebody on the other side of it, that's somebody that is married, and I just feel like death do us part is a long time. Like you spend more time, you're spending more. Let's say you dated 1 to 5 people between now and 25 or now and 30, right? Mm-hmm. Like, but then you let's say you die at 100. That's 70 years that you spent with one person. Like, come on, like if you spent 5 years dating 5 different people, you should date, right? And I used to date people long enough to be like, oh, I don't want to be in a relationship with you. Like, and that's what I'm saying. I could date.
Your intent was to
be in a relationship, yes. Okay. But I could date you and you would eventually show me things. I'd be like, okay, well, this actually wouldn't work long term. Like, this is not it. Like, and that's fine. You didn't even, that's fine. Like, but okay, I'm gonna go date somebody else now. Like, I remember when I started dating you, and I was so enamored by the type of man that you were. And I was just like, wow, like he loves God. Like he's so into, and if you don't know me, I'm a God's girl. And, I was just so enamored by your love for God. Uh-huh. And, just like small things that you would do. I was like, wow, like he makes such a good dad, or, like he cares. You were very invested in me and my career. Uh-huh. And also just very caring and nurturing. And in a lot of ways, you could be more affectionate, but you're still that way. You still struggle in that area. But, as a person, I was like, wow, like he seems like a good guy. And then you always feel like good guys finish last, but it is what it is.
I learned. We've had this conversation.
Yeah, you 100% feel like good guys finish last, but I do. Okay. No, go ahead. No, but like I said, I was just saying, like, there's nothing wrong with dating. There's nothing wrong. Like, and like I said, dating and being a hoe or being, too promiscuous, it's not the same thing. I don't believe those labels. I don't believe in those labels. Figure out if you figure out if you like a guy that is more liberal or a guy that is more conservative. Figure out if you like somebody that's more into nature. So that's the benefit. The benefit is just figuring out what you like and don't like. Yes, absolutely. And that's a beautiful thing. Like, we were having a conversation offset with our tech, right? And in the conversation, he was like, hey, I like walks in the park with coffee, and we can do all the free things in the city. And you were like, I don't want to sit on grass in the park. Like, absolutely not, right? I want to go pay for the experience. I want to go to brunch. I would like to go to a nice restaurant for brunch. But like, 2 different people, same type of experience, but for somebody on the receiving end, it's like, well, actually, I have a really good friend, one of my best friends. She loves nature, right? And she would actually say to me, Afiya, I want to go sit by Dumbo and just and talk, right? And like you're like, absolutely not. It's too damn cold to be standing out here. We can talk in the house. We can talk in the house. We can talk in the house. I don't need to go by the water talking. Right, but like, needless to say, what I'm saying is, like, when you're dating, because you might be more inclined or attracted to nature, or, like, you want to be with somebody that aligns with those things, because you're like, actually, I would like to sit in the park, and watch a free concert and have coffee or, drinks, versus a more formal setting of going to brunch or an upscale restaurant, right? And so there's nothing wrong with dating both and figuring out, hey, actually, I prefer this over this. You might date somebody that is much more liberal in their thinking, right? Like, and that could be everything from politics to how you want to raise your children. Does he want to be a stay-at-home dad? Do you want to be a stay-at-home mom? No, I think I should work and go get the bacon, and you should stay home with the children. Like, dating different people, and like I said, in no way am I promoting, being over promiscuous. All I'm saying is, dating allows you to figure out what you want and what you like and what you feel will ultimately get you to a point of staying married, of being married and staying married and being happy in a relationship. And that's so important. Like, you don't want to be in a relationship and then realize, oh my God, like, you know, we actually never talked about, you know, your viewpoints on anything, whether being a mom, politics. We never talked about, and people change. We always talk about that. You always talk about we talk about that. The hardest part about being married is that people change. And like, you might start out as somebody that, you know, adores high-end restaurants. And then as you get older, you're like, actually, I want to go sit in the park and look at the ocean. Mm-hmm. And you're like, well, I've never been the type of person to want to sit in the park and look at the ocean. And so now you find yourself compromising to, you know, how your partner has changed. So it's tricky, you know.
Well, I'm interested. I want you guys to let me know what you know, how you feel about that topic, or if you have, what's the benefits, what's the pros, what's the cons. I want to hear those things. I think the cons for me outweigh the pros, but that's just me. All right, let's move on. Third chronicle of the day, spicy. Ooh. How long should you wait before having sex when dating somebody? I know it's depends, but what are your thoughts? Oof. Like what should it be?
What should it be?
What should it be? Let's start with it.
I think it depends on the person, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and we've discussed this before on the podcast, but I fully believe in bodily autonomy when it comes to women. Like, if you want to have sex with somebody on the first date, do you, boo? Like, you know, like if you want to wait 3 months, that's fine. If you want to wait 6 months, that's fine. If you want to be abstinent, that's fine. Like, whatever is your prerogative, you should do that, right? Like, you shouldn't be put in a box or judged or made to feel less than, you know, because of that, right? Like, I know people that have had sex on the first date and they're happily married, 3 kids. You know, I know people that have waited 3 months. I know people that went into the relationship and are abstinent, got married, divorced, right? Like, there really is no right or wrong way to kind of, you know, pick and choose when you should have sex going in. And you might try different things, right? Like, I have friends where they started out, you know, like, hey, I'm going to wait 3 months. Mm-hmm. And the relationship still didn't work out.
I think there's a, what's the rule? I think there's like a amount, like a universal, is it 3 months?
Listen, like I said, it's just whatever works for you. You can wait 3 months. There's nothing wrong with waiting 3 months. You know, like, and then also too, like, we've had this conversation with some of our friends. You know, the older you get, right? And you're like, well, what are we doing? We're 2 grown adults. I want to have sex. You want to have sex. Like, what are we waiting for? Like, do I have to wait 3? Like, you know what? And she might want to have sex just as much as him. Or he might want to have sex just as much as her. It could go both ways.
I'll pull up some numbers for you.
Okay.
10% of Americans think it's fine to have sex within the first week.
Okay.
10% of Americans.
That's not that high. That's not a lot.
Less than 90% after 3 months of dating.
That's fine. Good.
And they say men and women tend to feel differently. 38% are more likely, 38% of men are more than women, which is 20%, think it's acceptable for couples to have sex within the first month. So men are... So I feel like...
So it sounds like the majority say that 3 months is standard.
Yeah, but I feel like men... Like, I'm, you know me, I said I was liberal a couple times on this. I don't know why I'm using that word these days. But
I don't even know if he is
my
liberal.
mindset is just like...
I don't even know if I agree that you are liberal. I don't. I think you have...
I'm open. I could take both sides and not judge you because of your side. Like, yeah. So most men want sex on the first date or as soon as possible.
I don't know. We went to dinner yesterday for your birthday, and one of them said no. One of them said, that's not what I want. Yeah.
So, no. So that was getting to. So they want sex either on the first date or early. But when they get it, now they have a perspective of the woman. They think that she's too promiscuous. I don't believe that. Like, I tell, like, bro, her back needed scratching. Your back needed scratching. The moon was full. Yeah. The water level was right. Y'all did what y'all needed to do at that time. That don't necessarily mean, promiscuity or whatever.
Yeah.
For me, sex. For me, I'm an open book. It doesn't matter. If we want to have sex on the second date, on the first date, it's fine for me.
We're literally
if you want to, if you want to wait, I've waited.
Yeah.
I've did that game with girls who want to wait 3 months or whatever that. Oh, what was think like a man. What was the rule? What was the rule? Steve Harvey said.
I don't remember. I don't know if it was 3 months or.
Was it like 5 dates or 6? It was like dates. It was some dates. It was number of days. Something like that.
Yeah. I don't know.
That works. That don't really work.
This is what I'm saying. And it's just, listen, I'm down for 3 months. I think 3 months is fair. Like I said, it doesn't necessarily mean that the relationship is going to work. But at least you are giving yourself time to get to know the person without sex. Because if the dick is bomb, baby, like you're
keeping them no matter what.
No, it's
so
hard
you're ignoring all the red flags.
No, and then your mind is clouded. Yes, your head is clouded, and you're just like, oh, it's so good. So
that's why these men be trying to get in there so you can dickmatize.
I know earlier.
You can bypass all the red flags.
All the red flags. Like, you know what? Let me just dig her down right quick. So I think that like at least you're giving with the 3 months, you're giving yourself time to get to know this person without the influence of physical intimacy. And that is great. That's a beautiful thing. There's nothing wrong with that. Like,
it's a perspective. You're not worried from a girl perspective, right? I told you how I feel like most, not me, but a lot, I don't say most, a lot of men is that we go into the first date. Yeah, we're the man if we have sex. Keep it very on the first date, but then view the woman as she out here for these streets. How many guys she done slept with in the first night?
I think it just depends on the guy.
Perspective. So on the woman perspective, is there like a pressure of not being perceived a certain way by giving up the cooter too quickly? Like,
that's a good point.
Like, how do women? I'm entering the mind of a woman. Are you guys? Are you giving yourself a pep talk like Issa in the bathroom? Like, girl, keep it together. Keep that cat in the box.
Wear them granny panties, girl.
Okay, don't shave. We're not trying to give it up to him tonight. Is there pressure or is
absolutely. I think I agree with you. Absolutely. To be viewed in a more, respectable wholesome light. Absolutely. I can definitely see that. Like, keep it tight, keep it together, especially when you find the man so attractive or the female so attractive. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. And like I said, it's beautiful to want to get to know somebody without clouding your judgment once physical intimacy is involved, right? Like, it's nothing wrong with that. Like, let me get to know you, your personality, your mind, especially when you're so attracted to the person. And you're just like, oh.
See, and I'm even with that, even with your
like sometimes you be so attracted to somebody that your skin is crawling just by looking at them. Like, damn, he's so fine.
I still do that for you.
Yeah, baby. I'm like, damn, he's so fine.
Okay, see, my mind is being clouded. So even with your thought process, right, of like getting to know somebody without the sexual contact or sexual, I think that's important to get through that first too, because we both agree that, and you stood by that, like sexual connectivity is big, right?
Yeah, very important.
I want to know if we compatible in that
areas.
Quickly.
Yes, I want to know if we're compatible in other areas too.
I want to know if we're compatible sexually quickly too, because that's a big part of a relationship.
Yeah.
Imagine you dating this person for 3 months. Let's just keep it simple. No, let's say you 6 months. Let's say you a wholesome church going girl. You're like, 6 months. I'm holding off. You guys have a lot of the same interests.
Yeah.
And then y'all get in the bed and there's no fire, there's no electricity.
Yeah.
You don't think that's a big letdown?
It is. You're like, we could have got here sooner.
We could have got here sooner. At least pump fake. At least let's get into the heat of movement and do the pump fake. Like, no, let's not do this. Let's wait. Let's see if that energy is there. Let's see if that chemistry is there. Because I think sex has a lot to do with a successful relationship as well. Mm-hmm. So finding out if you're sexually compatible sooner than later, I think it's
important.
It's very, call me, I don't think I'm that
So what's
old-fashioned.
Sooner? Is the sooner 3 months or is the sooner like
I don't have a time. I'm okay with anything the female wants to do, or wanted to do.
Sometimes he's so fine, I just be like, oh girl.
So in the past, I remember I've tried like in dating in my earlier age, younger, tried that whole like, oh, let's not have sex. Or I even tried it.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I don't want to have sex.
Yeah.
Let's just wait.
And it just makes you want it more. Yeah. It just makes you want it more.
It's just like, as soon as you say that, clothes start flying up like a movie. You even gotta do nothing, and then it just heightens everything even more. Oh, he don't want me. No, I really want her. Like, I really want her, vice versa. And I'm like, do what you do.
And then imagine trying to go backwards. Now you bit. Like you
already tasted forbidden fruit, and I think we talked about this.
And then now you're trying to go backwards. Like, damn, we shouldn't have done that.
That's even worse. But
like, it's always downhill from there.
Again,
at that point, if you've already cracked it open, it's all right, girl.
I think I want to hear the rules. I want to hear what people have dealt with. I want to know. I want you guys to say if you think that's like old news or we still kind of go by that.
I think people don't care. I think
people don't care no matter what.
I think if you ask somebody, most people are gonna say 3 months.
3 months?
But I think actually like maybe as you get older, I just think people don't care. I swear to God, I don't think most people are waiting 3 months. I think that it's the right thing to politically say. But I think that people are just like, when it's right, it's right. And then imagine like you're 40. Imagine like now you're in your 40. And you're 40 or 50s, and like we're adults, we both now know why we're here. Like, I've had this conversation, and some people like with some of your older friends, and they'll be like, "Why are we playing games? Like, we know why we're here." Like,
I was watching. Cam Newton been going viral a lot lately.
Very viral.
So the last thing I saw with him was like I forgot what the topic was, but I'm paraphrasing, so don't quote me on this. But he was like, if a woman come over to my house, if we're not going for it, I'm not kissing, I'm not cuddling. I'm like, we grow. What are we doing? We're grown.
Yeah.
Like we know what we want, what we came here for. If this is not what it is, I don't want to kiss you. I don't want to hold your hands. That's like he was saying. He was like, I don't want to kiss. I don't want to spoon. I don't want to cuddle. If we doing that, we fucking.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what he was saying.
I love that.
He was like, we fucking fuck the childish games. We're not doing none of this. We having sex. So what I thought about too is that this also relates to our previous question, right? I also think that time matters if you're dating multiple people, because you mentioned if you date in multiple people, essentially you don't want to be having sex with all these people, right? So I think it ties into that. Like, say I'm dating multiple people, that will kind of like delay the process of sex because you don't want to be typically you don't want to be out here just
for all these people
fucking a bunch of people at the same time. I mean, people do it. Obviously, if you're safe, if you're doing it, be safe. Strap up. Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But like essentially, if we're dating,
insert condom ad, insert safe sex ad, accepting sponsorships.
Essentially, you don't want to be just out here just fucking a bunch of people at the same time. Yeah. Essentially, but I think that would change how quickly you have sex as well.
Depending on how many people
you're actually talking to at the moment, or
especially like if you're dating one person and you're already sexually intimate with them, and now you meet somebody else, and now you're trying to hold out because you're still giving up the cat to the first guy.
And that's it's a good feeling. That's a good mindset to have, right? There's nothing wrong with that.
And now you done slipped up, gave it to the second guy. You're like, damn, I need to stop fucking the first guy. Like,
if you're fucking two people, you might be okay, but then it gets dangerous.
And now you're trying to figure out which one is better, and then now your mind is skewed. Now you making a decision based on which penis is better.
So again, it goes back to my other argument from the previous. Like, it confuses you.
It do confuse you. You're like, dang, I really like the first. I know,
but this person don't have to do it.
Yeah.
And now you know what? I'm gonna just keep both because I can get pleased by both. See, it gets too crazy. It gets too messy.
Yo, and now you're like, dang, I really like the first guy, but the second guy's sex is better. But this guy eat my.
I think I heard that.
Your head all messed up now.
It was either Yeetie or I think it was Yeetie, where the girl was like, I think she had I forgot what her question was, and the girl called in. She was like, "Oh, I'm juggling these two guys."
Yeah.
And there was like, I guess they call. I thought he was no good, but the shit dude had the best sex.
Yeah.
And what's the name?
Oftentimes they do.
Cause they got time. All they got that's all their energy. They don't got shit to. They ain't doing shit. They just working, giving all their energy on that one thing.
They ain't got nothing else going on. All they mind and focus and energy is on laying the pipe.
That's all they manage.
They done mastered it. Oh God. Okay. All right.
But let me know your thoughts. Are you guys put in the time. That's going to definitely be a poll on the IG, so look out for it. What's the time frame we're going to do? Right away, 1 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, or I don't know, a year, I don't know. I guess it depends on your religion too, but let us know your thoughts. All right, let's go with the last chronicle.
Okay, are boys' trips and girls' trip really bad, or is there a deeper meaning?
That's a spicy one. So I know you guys have been seeing it, whether it's on Instagram, TikTok. It's been like a lot of memes about this recently. And I personally believe it's because men, guys, y'all run your mouth too much. And the women are taking these trips too, but they're not just speaking about it. Especially now. I think there's nothing, again, like I mentioned in our previous topics, that you should not be able to do when in a relationship, when marriage. I think boys' trips and girls' trips are healthy. I encourage you.
Yeah.
I mean, she don't like a lot of girls, so it's
and they always go really bad.
But I encourage her to go on girls' trips. And I know, ladies, y'all gonna be. I'm gonna get ahead of y'all before y'all says, "Girl, he trying to tell you go so he could go on his boys' trip too," and not do. I have yet to been on a boys' trip. I'm 39 years old, not because of anything we just haven't done. Me and my boys have been talking recently about going, so we probably gonna go soon. Well, not soon, but. Eventually, we've been talking about it. I think it's healthy with friendships, right? I'm gonna talk personal right now. Me and my friends, my core friends have been together. I mean, have been friends now for like 20 plus years. And, you go from playing on the same basketball team to being in the same city to moving out the same city. Now everybody have their own lives.
Yeah.
All my friends are married, kids. We don't even talk as much as do. We have a group chat that we seldomly just say something. I think it's a cool and needed thing to connect with your friends. Just like any relationship that you have, you need to, nurture. I was trying to find the word. Nurture those relationships. And we understand we get older, and again, you have priorities now or things that you might put above us. Respectfully, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think it's healthy. I think we should reconnect. And I'm talking to you, my fellas. We're gonna reconnect soon, and just get back to just talk. Like what we talked about 20 years ago, basketball and chasing girls and chasing skirts. This could be beneficial too. We sitting down and we talking about marriage.
Did you just say chasing skirts?
Yeah. I'm just saying, chasing girls. What? Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm just throwing out something. Like we talked about this earlier, because we're young, we're just chasing girls or whatever. And now we're all married, and we just. I think it could be a good thing to re-energize and we share our
what you've learned.
What we've learned, and we could go back to our own perspective, marriages and work and thing. The problem is the DR and the Colombia and the sex. I don't say trafficking, but the sex selling in these other countries that's being promoted via social media and this time being highlighted takes away from actually what the trip is supposed to mean. And I'm not denying that these things happen. We all know that these things happen, but they happen everywhere.
Yeah.
People act like Colombia or DR is the only person that you could buy pussy. You could buy here in America.
Yeah.
Easily from your phone.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I guess if your girl is not there, it would seem like it's easier.
It might be easier, yes, because you're away. But at the same time, the bottom line is trust. I get what you're saying, and yes, these things happen. I'm not being blind. Ladies, I'm not saying that, oh, you're man. Or men, I'm not, I'm very, again, both sides. I understand what can happen or what sometimes do happen.
Right.
But don't let that
take away from
what the trip and the fun is supposed to be. And it's both sides. Women, men, vice, both ways. Go ahead.
So, no, I would like to say I feel like I've grown. Because I feel like and I initially had this conversation with my friends, one of my close friends, this was years ago.
Okay.
And I think my initial, response was like,
hell no.
Yeah. Right. And to be honest, to be fair, I will say, I think it's just from my upbringing, right? I would be lying if I said
Your dad didn't take
my dad, it was not something that I saw, right? My dad never took guy trips. It was never if he took a trip, it was with his family. If he took a vacation, it was with his family, right? And it wasn't that he didn't hang out with his friends. He definitely did. But I never saw my dad...
I never saw it either.
Right. So, like, I never saw it, especially going from, like, being single to in a relationship to engaged to married.
Your mom probably did, though.
So my mom is an AKA. So I'm also an AKA, and my mom never took trips like with her girls. Like girls. No. That's what I was gonna say. She never took like girls trip, like just her friends. She's been to like AKA conferences. They have Boulé, but my dad has also been to Boulé. I don't know if he's like he goes to. She'll take him to like some of the activities, or she'll go to like the different conferences. But those are normally like a day or two.
And I went to Dubai recently, though, right?
With her AKs, right? With AKA, right? So like the extent that it, for me, from what I've seen, has always mostly just been with her sorority sisters, not just like, I won't say randoms, and not that you should be taking trips with randoms either way, but like I said, it just wasn't something that I saw growing up, right? Where my dad took these guy trips, or my mom took these girl trips. The most my mom would do was like go to the beach, and she would take me with her. Like, and she had her 4 friends. She would call her sister circle, and she would take like a road trip. She would take me with her, and that was the most I saw. But there was not this, I will say, there wasn't, a intent. There was no, planning of girls' trips or guys' trips to get away from the family.
Verbiage, see? To get away. That's
okay, you are getting away, though.
I mean, even if that was the case, escape,
get away, a break. Right? Let's say break. And don't get me wrong, to your point, breaks are healthy, right? Like sometimes you got to take a break or step away to even appreciate what you have at home, or even see how much work your partner puts in at home, right? Like whether that be like the mom is like, oh my God, like she plans the cooking, the cleaning, the kids getting to school, picking them up, managing your work schedule, and then the kid, and once mom kind of steps away, you see, oh my God, well, who's gonna make sure my life is together, right? And vice versa. Like even the support of the husband or the partner, and seeing what he does and what he contributes, and when he's not there, realizing, oh my God, it's a lot on me by myself.
So I'm unclear.
So what I'm saying, right, is when I initially had the conversation, I was against it just because of my upbringing. I think now that I'm married and I understand your perspective on it, I do understand that guys' trips and girls' trips are healthy, but I want to know what's going on, right? Like, I do feel like they are healthy, but I want to know, like, what's on the agenda, what's happening, because to your point, right, with social media, there is this negative connotation sometimes behind guys' trips where there is this over promotion of sex workers. There is this over, promotion of prostitution, or of things happening on these trips that are not respectable, to a man in a relationship, or to a man that is married. And so it does automatically put up these red flags that say, well, what's actually going on these trips? Like, and I don't think you should be naive to it, right? Because you might not be the one planning the trip. One of your friends might be the one that's planning the trip, and you agree to go on the trip. And now he has a full agenda of things planned that don't coincide with you being in a relationship or you being married, right? So it's okay to say, hey, okay, well, you want to go on this guy's trip? And it's not even from a permission thing. It's just about like having respect for your relationship on this trip, right? And sometimes you might be in a relationship, but your friend might not be. Right? And so if you're going on a trip and your boy is single, he might have activities planned for a single guy because he himself is also on vacation and wants to have a good time. And it, like you said, it is always your choice to partake in these activities or not. But I do think if I'm in this situation, on both sides, it's okay to, say, hey, babe, this was going on today, right? This was happening today. And to also like, for there to be an open line of communication. Don't go on the boys' trip and then go ghost. Like, I didn't hear from you all day. I didn't hear from you until the next day. Like, I would be very upset. I would. And vice versa. I would try to have that same line of respect for you on a girls' trip if I took one. I've taken girls' trips. They haven't always gone the best. I'm not pressed.
I've forced her.
He has forced me, and after,
and I haven't even been on one,
right? But and it would seem like he forced me so that he could go on one.
No, and I haven't even been on one.
But like he has forced me, and I think I've been on like 2, and I didn't have the best time on either one of them. And I think like it. I can say I've done it, but I personally, I'm not running to spend a couple grand to go on a girls trip. I'm not doing it, right? Like, I've done it, didn't have a great time. I'd rather take a trip with my son. I'd rather take him somewhere he's going to have a great time. Like, I love that. And I have to stick to what makes me happy, you know? So it is what it is. But like I said, when it comes down to the girls' trips and guys' trips, you know, I do think it's okay. It is healthy. I just think that you should make sure that the activities align with the respect for your relationship and that your partner is in the know of what's happening. And whether if you check in at home, you should check in on the trip. Like, if you like, hey, babe, I'm about to go do this. On the trip,
my phone,
hey, I'm about to go do
died,
this.
Baby.
Your phone died.
My phone died, baby. We was out all day. We was at church. At the temple, at the temple of Tibet, and
you might be in Dubai. You might be at the temple in Thailand.
I had no charger. I got back at 9 o'clock.
You might be at the temple in Dubai or Thailand. I'm not taking that away from you. But like I said,
I got you. I'm just poking the bear
with the eye. You know, with
yeah.
the eye
open. So one of my friends called me recently, like in the past like say 5 days, and we talked about it. I'm like, you know, we need to really do that. Yeah. I'm like, I agree with you. I told him verbatim, I was like, just know. Well, first of all, I said, where are we going? If we say DR or Colombia, it's going to be red flags up. It's going to be eyes up. Like, that's just because of the reputation of the country. I say, if we choose to go there, fine, but just know, your wife is not going to tell you, no, don't go, but it's going to be some... Yeah, it's going to be some energy. It's going to be some type of energy. And that's, I get it. I can't say that I don't get it. I understand. But at the same time, you know, my bottom line has always been just trust. Yeah. Like.
And you have to trust your and that's another thing. Like, sometimes, you know, for people in relationships where they do not want their partner to go on boys trips or girl trips, it's because sometimes things have happened, right? Like, if your partner has cheated on you or they have done things in the past
I just put them there suffering.
Right. And then now, like, you know, they've lied, they haven't been truthful, they've done things that, you know, warrant you raising your eyebrow on what's actually happening on a boys trip. No, I'm not going to feel comfortable with you going. Like, I'm going to be like, well, you know, last time you said this when I was away, or last time you said that, and this is what actually happened. Why would I be okay with it? Right. And that does boil down to trust. But there are several people in relationships where they're still in the relationship and the person has cheated, or they've done things that are questionable, or, you know, like, it's not uncommon. You know, so you can't fault someone.
I understand, you know, the air around the subject. Yeah. The smoke around the subject. I understand. I'm not holding a blind eye to it. None of us are holding a blind eye to it.
I've had a friend, one of my good friends, didn't come to my bachelorette party because of the exact same thing. Where it was just like, oh, I don't know what's happening on his bachelorette party.
But it wasn't a bachelor. It was joined.
Ours? It was joined. Yeah, it was a joint.
So we had
she still didn't come out of respect for her relationship. Now she married. It worked out.
We had a joint bachelor and bachelorette part. Like, what was going to happen? We invited people too. Like, you could have brought your partner. It wasn't even...
But like I said, sometimes when there has been things in a relationship that have tested the relationship, or there has been infidelity or cheating or anything, sometimes it may not even have been cheating. It could have been sex. Well, sexting is cheating. But it could have been sexting. It could have been anything. Like, maybe you're too flirtatious and you lead women on. Maybe, you know, like, your phone dies and you go missing. Like, whatever it is, like, maybe your communication isn't the best when you're here and now you're on a trip and it's like you're gone for
maybe my T-Mobile ain't had no reception. I don't have T-Mobile.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying, like, there are things in a relationship, I'm sure, that would make your partner jealous. I mean, not jealous. Uncomfortable. Yeah. You understand? Things have gone on that are not always, you know, like, respectable to the relationship.
No, I get it. I just think it's a topic. It's a hot topic right now, and I think it's going to continue being a hot topic for a while. I think conversations need to be had beforehand. You know, we were talking about this with her cousin on the way here, and, you know, she was like, knowing the schedule, but even then, I could tell you a schedule and
that's
not
the
do
schedule,
it. So,
the agenda.
I don't even.
But you should ask what's going. Like I said, if you didn't plan.
What are we gonna say though? Like, what do you expect me, baby? What's on the agenda? We're gonna go see the temple. We're gonna go.
No, she brought up
bungee jumping.
What did she bring up? The breakfast, sex breakfast.
Well, that was a bachelor.
What is it called? Sex breakfast.
Naked breakfast.
Naked breakfast.
I didn't even know that's a thing, but I learned about that.
So imagine you go.
It was that wasn't a necessarily a boys' trip. That was for a bachelor party, though.
A bachelorette trip.
Bachelor party.
Bachelor trip, yeah. Right? Bachelor trip. And you go, and one of the activities is a naked breakfast. I'm not sure if you're familiar with naked breakfast is.
I didn't even know what that was.
Essentially, it is a company where these women come and cook and provide breakfast to the men, and they're naked. I
just told her, this is what I said. So I just sleeping that day. I got a hangover and I sleep in that day.
You understand.
No, I understand completely what could happen.
She's like, you know what? I want to know what's going on because that is an actual situation that she was in, and she was very upset. Yes. She was she was very upset. So it was a thing in their relationship where she was just like, no, I'm not okay with that. So now if there's a boys trip, yes, I want to know what's going on. You should ask your friend that planned the trip, what are the activities that's lined up, right? Like, do they align with a guy that's in a relationship or a man that's married? And if you don't, I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I don't
see nobody in my group that's planning an itinerary.
Naked breakfast.
Not only that, just planning an itinerary. I think we're just gonna go on the fly. Like I don't like you'd make all the plans. When we go on trips, I pay, you make the plan.
Yeah, that's just how our life is.
It's simple. Whatever you want to do, I pay, you make the plan.
He also doesn't like planning.
Yeah, that's what I don't know. Nobody in my group that's gonna be like, oh, we have a whole full itinerary. Like we're gonna go here. Like we go there. We pick up a brochure. What stuff to do here? Okay, let's do this today. Let's do this tomorrow, and we just go by it. But I get it. I understand where you're coming from. But like I said, I want to bring back the positivity behind boys and girls trip because there's a lot of negativity around it recently. And again, guys, ladies, I'm not trying to say that shit doesn't happen. And fellas, I got y'all back, as you see we here, but
keep it cute.
Keep it cute. Keep it safe.
Keep it safe. Keep it respectful.
And go have your fun.
Keep it respectful. Keep it cute.
And have your fun.
And come home. Keep your phone on. Right? Like don't go missing.
So this is her telling me about my trip that's coming up. That's the trip. It's all good.
Anyway, that's it, guys. Thank you for tuning in this week to Couples Chronicles with Afiya and
your boy Lloyd.
Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and
follow us at
Couples Chronicles Podcast. Thanks, guys, for tuning in.
See y'all next time. Peace.
All right, Wolf, let me hear it. What you feel?